Okay, hi, welcome back to my channel. As you already know, because you clicked on this video and saw the title, I'm going to talk to you today about why I personally do not see a doctor. I have a few reasons. I'll start off by saying the last time that I saw a doctor was when I had a deadly parasite that I got while traveling abroad. And after much encouragement, insistence from the friends that I was living with at the time I was in grad school, I went to the doctor to find out what was going on with me, because at that time I didn't know I had a parasite. I just knew that I was experiencing all these crazy symptoms like full body rash, crazy digestive issues, constipation, bloating, energy was gone, zapped like overnight. And so something was going on, and so I went to a doctor. Was essentially told that there was nothing wrong with me. They ran a couple tests, told there was nothing wrong with me. I felt very dismissed, like I was just silly and dramatic and making something up. And this is a very short version of this scenario. And decided in that moment, when I was told there was nothing going on with me, when my whole body screamed that there was something going on with me, that I decided that I would learn everything that I needed to take my health back into my own hands and be my own doctor, so that I would never, ever have to rely on someone else to help me navigate my very own body ever again. And that was quite a few years ago now. And I have stuck to that declaration for myself and have not needed a doctor ever since. And so that was the turning point in my life. Previously, I was not much of a doctor person. I was in my early 20s at this point, so I don't know how many people are overly concerned about their health when they don't have any huge health problems at that age. But I was never really into doctors, but that was a definitive moment where I was most definitely not. So anyway, I have a few notes right here. I don't know if this is an evolution in my typical stream of consciousness talks with you guys or not, but I wrote down a few notes here so that I make sure I say these things exactly how I want to say them. So I'll start with the first reason why I don't see a doctor. So the first reason I don't see a doctor is because, in my opinion, doctors are not like lots of other professions. So for instance, if you need a lawyer or a mechanic, those things to me are valid professionals to seek their professional opinion in, because they are trained in things that are man-made, like the law or cars. But my body and your body are our own, right? My body is my own. This is a thing that I exist in, that I've existed in for almost 34 years, that I know more than anyone could ever know, because I have been in my body and I have lived my experiences, and I know the things that I have seen and done, the people I've interacted with, the experiences that have molded me and scared me and influenced me and brought me joy. I know the things that I put in my body. I know, right? I know all of those things, just like you know those things for your life. And a random person, a doctor, despite how many years of training they have, has no awareness when you walk into their office of any of that about me or you. And since, again, our health is uniquely us, our bodies are our own, we're not cars, we're not a man-made book of law that you can simply, oh, not to discredit those things, but that you can study. You can study and understand how an engine works. And when you understand how an engine works, then you know why an engine wouldn't be working, and you know how to fix it. But human beings aren't robots, right? We are spiritual, emotional, physical beings who are wildly complex and in some ways quite simple. And and we are us. And so to me, it feels quite quite silly to see a doctor to help me with my health when they don't know me, just like with my parasite story, right? My doctors didn't ask questions about when my symptoms started and where I was and what had happened and what had just the context of all of that, which upon reflection for myself gave me a lot of insight and was how I came to the conclusion that I had a parasite and was able to move forward with the proper steps in order to heal that. But my doctor knew nothing of that. They only knew to scan and to do the things that they are trained to do. So my body is my own. I live within my body, and it is within my full power to know and understand my body. And it doesn't feel like something that requires schooling to know, because it is mine and I exist in it. And all that is really required, though this is by no means a small thing, is deep self-connection. I've often said that health is connection to self and disease is disconnection from self. So it's in knowing myself, again, understanding the fullness of my life, the things that thrill me, the things that pain me, the choices that I make, and being really, really honest about all aspects of my life, that I have been able to heal and maintain great health now for quite a few years, and expect to fully do so for many, many years to come. So health is connection to self. Health is a personal thing. It is my responsibility for me and your responsibility for you. And people go from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor, searching for answers, desperate for answers, and ultimately that often leaves them empty of the answers they're so desperately seeking, because their health is their own, right? And no one knows their life and their circumstances like they do. And so it's ours. It's personal. So that's point number one. Point number two, let me go to my notes here. Point number two is, I'm just going to read my point number two. Doctors are there to solve a problem, but I don't see symptoms as problems. I see my symptoms as perfect teachers. As some of my best guides in life, my symptoms always reveal to me what needs changed in my life, and no doctor can change my life. Only I can. So seeing a doctor is just pointless. Again, our health is the fullness of our lives. We tend to think of health in very fragmented ways here in the US. It's like, okay, if I have a health problem, then I should perhaps change my diet, or I have an imbalance, so I should take a pill, or there's just something genetically wrong with me, or, you know, whatever the typical ways we think about it. But I think that our bodies are wildly incredible and highly intelligent and totally intentional in everything they do. And so I don't see my symptoms as being something random. I don't see them as being problems that I need someone to help me fix. I see genuinely every symptom that I have experienced and do experience or will in the future experience, because we all will, right? Me claiming and knowing that I am health does not mean that I will live the rest of my life without ever getting any symptoms whatsoever. I don't expect that at all. In fact, I don't think that's what it means to be health or healthy, to never, ever, ever have a symptom. That would not make any sense at all to me. So I will continue to experience rashes or colds or coughs or any number of things. And all of those things will be the perfect response to my current experience and my current perception of the life that I am living. And so much of this understanding as my symptoms being perfect responses, not problems to be solved, it comes from my study of German New Medicine, which perhaps if you follow me on Instagram for a while. You've heard me talk about German New Medicine. I highly recommend just Google German New Medicine and start learning about it, because it's a totally different paradigm, which I can, if you want me to do a video on German New Medicine, that's a separate topic. I'd be happy to do that. If you want, let me know in the comments. But it's a totally different paradigm. It's a totally different way of understanding our symptoms as, again, not problems to be fixed, but actually proof of healing occurring. Your symptom is proof of the healing. So, and the symptom tells us, gives us insight into what is going on in our lives. And so when I have digestive issues, what is going on in my life that I'm finding indigestible, right? What circumstance am I having trouble accepting, making sense of, literally and figuratively digesting, right? We have this saying, I can't, this is difficult for me to digest. Well, the body responds, right? Many people struggle with digestive issues like I did for many years, because there are aspects of their lives that are very difficult to reconcile. And it's only in the reconciling of those things that the digestive issues go away. Because again, the digestive issues, the constipation, the bloating, the diarrhea, whatever it is the body's perfect response, the body's way of helping you bring awareness to something in your life that needs changed or needs loved on or needs awareness around. And so again, when I have a moment of bloating or I have a moment of constipation, it's opportunity for me. What's going on in my life? What just happened recently? How am I perceiving a certain situation that I could perceive differently or process differently, so that my body no longer needs this healing response? Or a rash. Rashes, according to German New Medicine, are the result of a separation conflict. I've experienced a lot of rashes, eczema. That's just a thing that I've experienced a lot of in my own life. And so a separation conflict means either there is someone or something that I'm separated from that I'd like contact with, or someone that I am in contact with that I'd like to push away, that I'd like to not be, that I'd like to be separate from. And so there's been lots of situations in my life where that has been true. And my body, my skin, has always responded perfectly to that, has always revealed the need or the fear that was there, wanting to pull my mom in closer when I was a little girl, wanting to push that roommate away in college who was treating me horribly, wanting to, whoever, the different circumstances throughout my life, the body is healing. The body is healing. The body is expressing the perception, the experiences that we are always going through. So that was a very brief explanation that we could go into so much more detail around. But my point being is that my perspective on symptoms is flip-flopped, topsy-turvy, completely opposite of modern medicine, which is, a symptom is a problem, your body is failing you, there's something wrong that needs to be fixed. And my perception is that the symptom is the perfect healing response. The symptom is the perfect answer, the perfect response to what's going on in your life. And it is our job to understand what it is in our life that is going on. I heard someone say once, what keeps you up at night is the answer to your health, whatever is going on with your health. And I thought that was quite profound and quite simple. What is the conflict? What is the thing that worries you, that nags at you? What are you afraid of losing? What are you afraid of becoming? What are you afraid of never achieving? What are you stressed and unhappy about? What are you grieving? What connection to self? Health is connection to self. I've been so grateful for my body over the years for how it has been my greatest teacher above and beyond any person I've known, any mentor I've had, any experience I've had. My body has been my greatest teacher that has pulled me, sometimes kicking and screaming, in the direction of my greatest happiness and success and health in where I stand right now. And I fully expect my body to continue to do that. And that doesn't mean that the symptoms and illnesses and things that we experience are easy. They are not, right? Change is often not easy. If it was, we would do it and we wouldn't resist and we wouldn't have the experiences that we have. And so we all know that these symptoms that we go through are not easy. And so I have immense compassion for you or me or my clients or whoever is going through what they're going through. But it doesn't mean that your body's broken. It doesn't mean your body's broken. Get quiet and ask, what are you here to teach me? Why are you here? What is the lesson for me here? What is the cry of my soul right now for the change that I so deeply desire? And how does what my body's expressing to me teach me more about that change, that soul cry that longs to be answered? So that was point number 2. Number 3, I don't choose to orient my life towards searching for a problem. So why do we go to the gynecologist or to get mammograms or colonoscopies or even to get a physical? To make sure that there's not a problem, right? That's why we do those things. We go to make sure that there's not a problem so that we can catch something early, so that we can avoid, something being worse down the line if we catch it before it's progressed to that point. And I think that is absolutely not a way that I personally desire to live, searching for problems in my very own body. And it's not a way that I practice living in my life in general. I practice living searching for the good and the positive and the beautiful and the exciting and thrilling and living in confident expectation that good things are mine and coming my way more and more all the time. And that's not just silly, blissful ignorance. That's profound self-mastery. Because when you understand how the mind works and you understand that all is mind, all of it, all of this world that we have created is a result of our minds. We are minds in bodies, and our minds are controlling our bodies, and our minds are dictating all of our experiences, all of them, everything, nothing is exempt. And so when you understand how profoundly true that is, you will choose, I would think, like I choose, to be very, very intentional about where you place your focus. I choose to live in positive expectation that everything is well, that my body is well, that my body will continue to be well, that there will not just be a problem that will come out of nowhere randomly, that will be the end of me. I choose to expect the very, very best. I choose to expect the best. And so to me, what I often see with clients and people is that doctors, whether they are intending this or not, stir up an immense amount of fear, because the very premise of these doctors' visits, these practices, is to, again, find a problem or avoid a problem. And I say we just refocus our attention all together towards positive expectation around our health and our lives in general, and doing things for our health that will reap the positive results that we want, which leads to my final point, which is that doctors are not trained in healthful living. Doctors are trained in cutting and removing and surgeries. And I'm not here to say that that is altogether wrong or never necessary, or that I wish to live in a world that wasn't the case. I'm not saying that. I'm just being very honest with myself and you guys right now, which is that Doctors are not trained in natural, healthful, biological living. And in fact, doctors and nurses are some of the least healthful, least living biologically people that I personally know, working excessively long hours, very, very stressed in fluorescent lighting, indoors all day, eating lots of fast food because of their very busy lives, et cetera, et cetera. Quite overweight, some of the doctors that I know. And so they're not trained in the ways that make a human or keep a human being healthy. We are all biological creatures, just like a monkey is a monkey, a human is a human, a dog is a dog, and all of us have specific circumstances in which we thrive in, right? Like if you take a monkey from Costa Rica in its natural habitat with the fruit that it needs and the trees that it needs and the sun that it needs and the warmth that it needs and all the things that make that a perfect habitat for that monkey, and put that monkey in the forest in Canada, that monkey will struggle, probably die, I would think, unfortunately. And because it's outside of its biological natural habitat. And human beings are the same. We have natural biological ways in which we are meant to live, in which we naturally thrive, in which healing simply occurs, and we have ways of living that are not that, and that is predominantly, unfortunately, how much of the United States lives, and many other increasingly Western countries, where we are living profoundly unbiological lives, and our health is progressively shouting at us. Healing constantly, right? Our symptoms, our diseases are constantly healing in order to keep up with these unnatural circumstances that we find ourselves in. So like I said, with doctors, like working far too many hours, eating foods that are not biologically human, in artificial light, just on and on. I don't have to name all the things. I think it's quite obvious in a lot of ways. And human beings, when you put them in their natural biological setting, just like when you put a monkey in theirs, we heal and we thrive. And so I feel that it is well within my control to create a life for myself. I have created a life for myself that is that natural way of living, where health is just the natural outcome. It's not a thing that I have to struggle to achieve and maintain. It just exists because of the setting that I have created for myself, right? Moving out of the city, living in the country, eating the foods that I choose to eat, being in healthy relationships as opposed to some of the friendships and relationships I used to exist in where there was much more conflict, and et cetera, et cetera. It allows my body to just thrive, which is what we are all designed to do. Health is the natural state of the human being. Disease is not the norm. It is not normal. That is not just the inevitable outcome of being alive or of getting older. That is not true whatsoever. There is no sense of being alive means to be at risk for disease, or to age is to be at risk for disease. To be at risk for disease is to be disconnected from ourselves and from our true biological selves. So those are some of, perhaps there's a little bit more. If I wanted to make all these videos 3 hours long, I probably could. Reasons that I do not personally see a doctor, because I simply don't live my life oriented towards problem finding. I choose to live a healthful, biologically normal human life that helps me maintain my health. And and that's that. that is that. And so I hope this video was interesting to you, or insightful for you, or something for you. If you have any questions, want me to elaborate on anything, want me to pivot to something that you thought of based off of this video or whatever, just please leave a comment and I will continue to sit down and talk to you in this way. Okay, I'll let you all go.